So it was October 28th, 2017, and I started feeling, it was a Friday, I started feeling kind of sick. My stomach hurt and my back hurt, and I just figured I had eaten something that wasn't agreeing with me, and I went home and that night and took some Advil and slept on a heating pad, and I woke up on Saturday and felt great. And that Saturday was actually the kind of open house at the cancer center at Sarah Bush that we were actually going to go to, my wife and I, representing Rural King. And I went into the office for a few hours and started to feel worse than I did the day before, and just had this shooting pain in my side, and ended up going to the ER, and they said it's either appendicitis or it's a kidney stone, no problem. Either way, we'll knock it right out and you'll be on your way. The pain that I felt in my side was actually a mass that had the cancer had started to move through my abdomen. I met with Dr. Jaglin Moody shortly thereafter. Dr. DiDomenico actually did my first surgery Monday after I was diagnosed, and did an orchiectomy, which is the removal of the testicle. And after that, Dr. DiDomenico actually recommended Indiana Health in Indianapolis, and said they're one of the leading testicular cancer centers in the nation, and they recommended the exact same treatment that Sarah Bush did. And we thought, what a great opportunity to have such a wonderful resource, right here in our backyard. My employer, Rural King, was open to having visitors come out, and they actually took a schedule of all my treatments and had people sign up, and so it was almost like a revolving door of visitors. Every time I was in there, I wouldn't be there for hardly 30 minutes before my first visitor would show up, and I constantly had people coming in and sitting with me. My family would come. So I was early on in my treatment. I was sitting at the cancer center one day, and all the chairs face in so everybody can obviously receive treatment and kind of talk. And there's the big glass window that wraps around it to let sunlight in, and one of the nurses was walking towards me and kind of looked puzzled, and it was freezing cold and windy and awful outside, and she said, "Turn around, I think you have a visitor." And sure enough, I turned around, and my wife and my mother-in-law had brought both my kids, and they had made signs that said, "Go Daddy," and "Feel better," and my son was holding his little sign, and sure enough, there they were supporting me, and it was that was a moment that you won't ever forget. And came back and had about another 4 weeks of recovery after that for the incision to heal and my body to regain its strength from that, and was able to do all of my follow-up checkups from that here at Sarah Bush, which was excellent. And after that, that was when we finally got the first all clear of, you're done with treatment, you're done with surgery, you can start to go back to life as it was and resume things as they were before this all started. So I never really considered myself someone that would have gotten cancer. I mean, I was fairly in shape, I thought. I was 29 years old, and found out, especially with testicular cancer, it is younger males, obviously, but that it doesn't discriminate, it doesn't differentiate, and it can happen to anybody. And that was a big eye-opener, that you can't plan, you can't think, you can't say, well, I don't do X, Y, or Z. At the end of the day, it chooses you for one reason or another. When something like this happens, a lot of people think first, why me? Or, what did I do? Or how does this happen? And there were all those thoughts. I think that's all natural for people to think and wonder and question that sort of thing. The part that I think that I was able to rest on, and my family was as well, was that it was all part of God's plan, and we don't know what that is, and we can't always know what that is, and I think that's part of it. And the whole time, I mean, there were times that we felt pretty bad, and there were times that, you definitely wonder, it puts your world in perspective. I pretty much had to step out of work for 6 months almost, completely unexpected, and go back to being my wife's third child, and to be waited on, and knowing at the end of the day, as much as you don't like it or you don't understand it or you question why it happened, it's not always for us to understand why, but to know that it was a part of the plan, and that at the end of the day, we're in good hands, and that we need to trust that the outcome will be favorable. But either way, it's God's plan, and we need to trust in that.